forward, hamstring injury, and John Pendlebury, the recent signing from Halifax, takes over at number 13. Russell Stewart retains the number 6 squad, which means to say that Mark Wilson has to revert to 14 along with Errol Johnson, so Bradford Northern playing 2 backs as substitutes. A number of changes in the Halifax team. Queensbury product Robert Hutchinson moves from the wing to the centre where he partners Robert Grogan, Wilf George coming on the wing. That Toxel favourite Brendan Hill at number 8, and Dick Fairbank, a fiery forward Dick, playing number 10, so we're in for an intriguing battle up front. Medley and Staines at the second row, and that ball player Les Holiday at 13. Nice to see Oxford Stadium with a big crowd in at last. As I just came through the door a few minutes ago, there was still thousands locked outside. Now just observing 1 minute silence for a former Bradford Northern forward of the 50s and 60s, Milan Kostanovic. Played at Bradford Northern, Halifax, Featherstone Rovers. Tremendous character.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That mark of respect. Did he die?
Yes, rather a sad note. Milan Kostanovic died during the week. Been well remembered with the players' reunion today, one of the strong players' associations of both teams, Halifax and Bradford Northern. Now it's an annual event where we meet in the old changing rooms and swap stories. Milan been greatly missed. So it looks as though Paul Harkin has won the toss. Decided to switch on. One interesting feature of the Halifax side again is Tony Anderson playing full back. Very, very pacey player towed off. Game crucial for both sides. Bradford Northern just out of the bottom 3. Halifax planted firmly at the bottom, so they're desperate for 2 points. So here we go. Straight away. Ian Wilkinson. Another recent signing from Halifax, getting an early taste of the ball there. He'll be looking out to impress. Former coach Russ Judick will let him go, along with John Pendlebury. Both excellent players. And straight away, it's Hobbs getting Simpson away on the right-hand touchline. Kelvin Skeddick bouncing players off. Certainly going to be an interesting confrontation up front today with Brendan Hill, Skerritt. That's a lovely ball. McGowan been in tremendous form of recent weeks. 3 tries last week at Fulham. Man at the top of his form. Harkin straight away, peppering that touchline. Is it going to roll? Well, it's putting the Halifax players behind that try line. Carl Fairbank straight up, but the lanky Hutchinson brings the ball away. One of the players that missed the Bradford Northern scouting net, picked up by Halifax just a few months ago and had gone straight into the first team, only 19 years old, a former Bradford schoolboy. That's a tremendous tackle from Kelvin Skerritt. Hill yet to touch the ball, and Gary Mercer reverting to the wing position, a position which is very familiar with, playing for the Kiwis against Australia in the summer in the World Cup final there. And it's Bombay. Ducks under Dick Fairbank's clutching arm. Once again, it's that man Skerritt. Straight away, switching down the blind side. Pendlebury. Straight to John Hamer. John, a Halifax lad, so obviously he'll be wanting to play well today. It's always that little something extra when playing against your hometown club. Once again, a good penetrating kick from Hobbs. pinning Halifax in their own 25. Good follow-up play as well. A little saying that a kick's only as good as the followers. A perfect example there to all youngsters. How to get your chasers behind the ball. Les Holiday being very, very carefully marshalled there. Brian Noble and John Pendlebury. And another tremendous tackle there. And here's Brendan's first touch of the ball. I'm sure he'll get a warm reception. And straight away, Carl Fairbank and little Russell Stewart wrap him up. Well fielded by Mercer. And good strong running as well. This Northern back division now looking something like. Great break by Hobbs, rough support play by Noble. Paul Harkin wanting to get in there. David Hobbs certainly having a tremendous game so far. Good yards by Emma. Now Bradford Northern nice and deep. We're looking to move this ball wide. Halifax, of course, will come up very, very fast. Lovely little drop off there to Mumby. Mumby still going strong. Skerritt there on his pass it inside, but unfortunately with a Halifax man there. And it's Robert Grogan who brings the ball away. Good play by Bradford Northern. Last tackle, he had to move it out wide. I don't think we can criticise Kelvin too much this week. Last week in a similar position with a man outside him, he failed to pass the ball. This time he decided to move it out wide, and straight away Halifax kicking very early on the second tackle. It's going to be a good kick. It's going to roll, is it? No. Mumby, I'll just drave this one out. Wants Mercer inside him, shimmies away there. Cuts inside young Simon Longstaff. Straight away John Noble looking to settle this ball down. John Hamer should have said, sorry about that one, John. Good switch play. Little Harkin kicking deep. And that's a tremendous tackle there by Russell Stewart. It's interesting to see that both sides are obviously going to rely very much on their kicking game. Of course, got tremendous strike power with Paul Medley. Player who's destroyed Northern on a number of occasions while playing for Leeds. Got tremendous pace. Possibly the fastest forward playing rugby league today. And straight away we see that kick. Kick from Peter Coyne. Mumby picks it up cleanly though, tries to cut inside, was well wrapped up. Harkin, little Roger Simpson coming in, looking for work. Straight away the little fella, possibly the littlest fella on the pitch, runs into the biggest in Brendan Hill. Now an overlap there, but this time Stewart decides to go inside. Well played. Pendlebury still bowing and waving. Great yards, he's got Mercer away now. Can Mercer take his man on? He kicks rather foolishly with a man inside him. Wilkinson will pick up and score here. There he goes, good try. He's given it. Magnificent play by John Pendlebury there. Cut inside, fed a man outside. Tremendous play, got Ian Corkindale next to me here. A little bit suspicious. Ian, what do you think about that one?
I think it should have been a penalty try. I think he was obstructed. I don't think he actually put the ball down. Wilkinson did well to get up there with Mercer. He perhaps didn't shout with Gary kicking. But Fairbank had attacked the ruck. He did well to get the pass to Pendlebury, who skipped out the tackle. The man just oozes class, Pendlebury, on his day. He's one of the finest footballers in the game. Mercer took it well, a talented player. Went to the full-back. Wilkinson perhaps a shade too far behind to chance the pass. A little kick, it worked well. But Northern have had the preponderance of attack. They've certainly looked far more effective than Halifax so far. They've been well on top, facing a strong breeze as well. So I'm sure 1 or 2 early points, and the second half will see Bradford adopting this kicking game. A vital game for them, but they've started very well, John, haven't they?
Certainly have, Ian. Tremendous try, that one. I don't think David Hobbs have any problem here kicking this one. Puts it over nicely. A good start for Bradford Northern. After just 13 minutes, Bradford Northern 6, Halifax 0. One of the interesting features of the game is how Bradford Northern are going to try and beat this Halifax defence. It's a system which the coach has brought in where he clusters all the players very tightly in the middle of the field. It looks from the top of the stand and if you can move the ball wide, it's there to be beaten, but it's a lot harder than it looks. It's obviously a system which Halifax players aren't getting used to just yet with all the points they're conceding. You can just see now, if you look at the Halifax defence, how tight they are clustered in the middle of the park. It virtually cuts off any little inside balls which you might want to do from round the play of the ball. Straight away, Kelvin's got it, met by a brick wall. Good tackle from Brendan Hill. Harkin, and now this overlaps on. Oh, Halifax caught offside there. So Northern looking very dangerous at the moment. One man who seems to be benefiting from the distribution of Pendlebury is David Hobbs. 1 or 2 good runs down both flanks. Hobbs the kind of player that will always make the ball available. Very, very strong. Turns, hits his man. So, away goes Brian Noble. Harkin, straight to John Eamer, who'll drive the ball in. Brian Noble just pushing his man a little out wide. Russell Stewart walking straight into that one, but it's a tough little character. Well, it's a very strong wind at the moment from Northern are facing. Hobbs, long ball from Hobbs. What a great ball from Hobbs. Now as McGowan got the pace, just gets his ankle tipped. Now McGowan was away there. Showing that speed which has suddenly come to him after much criticism had already had it. Brian Northern, the overlaps there. Skerritt will bump him off surely. Good he goes. Tremendous try.
The old adage that a good bigot's better than a good little, and you spotted it that he was going to bump him off, and there's not many fullbacks in the world who'll stop Kelvin Skerritt at that distance with an open line. Beautiful ball by Hobbsy. Was that the try, Hobbs, as well? Beautiful pass out wide to McGowan earlier to split the defence. You were talking about the Halifax defensive system. This crowding round the ball, the cluster. Combined Brisbane used it where Ross Strudwick was coaching last year against Great Britain, and it was very effective for 3/4 of the game. But it was very obvious that all those players believed in it. I've watched Halifax 4 times recently, and I'm not sure all the players are committed to it. Basically, they shoot up until the ball goes through 2 pairs of hands. As soon as it's gone through 2 pairs of hands, they have to shoot wide. I think Canterbury in Australia, they're the first team to do it effectively. But Northern seem to have no difficulty. I think that's the 4th clear-cut break they've made so far. So 10 minutes play, 4 breaks. It certainly seems as if this defence is going to open up to Northern this afternoon.
Well, let's hope so, Ian. Just going back to that defensive system, I think at Halifax, on a much smaller ground, it is possible to play that system, but here on the wide open spaces of Oxford Stadium, it becomes so much more difficult. It's a good strike from Hobbs, is it there? Yes, tremendous. Another 2 points.
It may well be easier for Bradford to play the flowing rugby in the first half into the wind. That long ball that Dave Hobbs put out a minute ago is probably not on with a wind behind you. You're very open to interception, so Northern probably have 2 patterns today, one into the wind and a different pattern altogether in the second half with a wind behind them.
Yes, I think a little bit of boot of Harkin that takes her over in the second half. Meanwhile, It's Mercer who drifted over from the left-hand side of the field, takes that drive in. Just going back to that try from Kelvin Skerritt, it was the old Maori sidestep, straight through them. Surely one of the best prospects in the game at the moment, Kelvin Skerritt. How he can be overlooked for a test place, I don't know. However, I just heard that Great Britain have won today, so possibly Riley will be staying with his favourites from Leeds. Meanwhile, Harkin into the wind, drugs that one in. Tony Anderson, not looking as sharp as he's done in recent weeks. Going across the pitch, right into that man, Brian Noble, and I'll tell you, nobody will run around Brian when they're going across like that. So he can see now, even in attack, how these players are bunched all around the ball. Well, Kelvin Skerritt, possibly, as Ian was saying a minute or two ago, it is very, very difficult to put balls out wide when you are playing into the wind, so possibly that's why Halifax are. Big Brendan now going through. I think there'll be one or two going in there as it's pulled to the ground. Referee and linesman watching very, very carefully, and that's a fifth tackle, so will it be that kick through? Northern go up very fast. So cross kick. Mercer will have no difficulty here. Won't go dead though, so they'll be forced to run it out. Mercer, good pace, just not managing to get outside his man. Young Simon Longstaff, signed for a big fee. One of the record junior signings at Halifax. Halifax, one of the teams that's always put great store in signing junior players on. And haven't been afraid to put a lot of money as Carl Fairbank takes that one in right into Brother Dix and slips it out of. Stewart and Northern playing very good football. A little bit dangerous, I would think, in their own 25. Hobbs kicking it deep, straight to Anderson. Anderson has no difficulty. The Bradford Northern tackling absolutely supreme as we're picking him up and driving him back a good 10 metres there. Holiday holds the ball up well, but really set his man up there. That's what the youngsters call a hospital pass. Meaning I'll see you in hospital tomorrow. Oh, this looks more like it from Halifax. Good play. Ball's got to ground now. Now Simpson got the pace. The little fella's away. Is he going on another ankle attack? Oh, tremendous yards there from Simpson. Thought it was away. But once again, Northern in possession. Short ball to Hamer, takes it in. Gives the Bradford Northern players time to regroup, to just set it up. Hobbs calling his man wide. Pendlebury, good tackle, but he'll be back to one. Kelvin Skerritt. What a game this fella's having. A little bit pedestrian with that build-up there, Bradford. It was a little bit obvious the ball was going to go inside. And he beat his man here. Good ball, very, very unlucky. Hugh McGowan there just couldn't quite manage to get hold of the ball. If had it done, I'm sure it would have streaked away under the post. But after 20 minutes, it's Bradford Northern 12, Halifax 0, and it's all Bradford Northern at the moment. One-way traffic. And there's just no way through for this Halifax team at the moment. Looking a little bit bereft of ideas. Mercer. Good tackle. Tackle from Aussie Robert Grogan. Hobbs. Wilkinson now winning a part of the action. Comes in, takes a good little drive in. Very big boy for a centre, Ian Wilkinson. Has been known to play in the second row. So it's Harkin. Dummy drop off. No way through that time. Harkin again, there's that little chip over Wolf George's head. That's a good little kick. The chases are there as well. Good play from Bradford Northern. So have to look not to spoil it now with any silly offsides. Get back to the referee, Bradford.
Halifax at the moment seem to be doing little more than just drives from acting half-back and kicking. They certainly look a little bit devoid of ideas, but they've been willing to throw it about off their own line in any game this season, from scrums and from broken play, just letting the ball go. With this wind, obviously they're taking no chances. Northern just lost their way a little bit in the last couple of minutes. They've been putting the ball inside, doing 1 or 2 drop-offs, and I think Halifax look a little bit more vulnerable when the ball swung wide quickly.
Well, here's a chance for Bradford to move it wide now, but Wilkinson deciding to come inside. I think Harkin will want to keep pegging away, getting to that right-hand side of the field, then get his backs nice and deep, and we'll spin it wide again. So as Hamer takes the ball in, both sides just looking to have lost away a little bit. Last couple of minutes, as Ian was just saying. That free-flowing rugby from both sides has gone out the window. Knock-on and fumbles from both sides. Well, I think the referee could have waved play on there. Was a knock-on by both sides. The advantage eventually going to Bradford Northern, but he decided against that and has given a scrum down. Most of the spectators seem to into the ground. It's probably Bradford Northern's biggest gate of the season. And surely that must be offside. The scrum half diving there behind the hooker's legs. Hooking against Brian Noble is Jason Ramshaw, son of the old Oxall stalwart Terry Ramshaw. Some of them may remember him in the late 60s, early 70s. Clawson and Ramshaw from middle back two for Yorkshire over a number of years. Possibly remembered more for his chin and a lot of other things. Ian just said his nickname was Desperate Dan. I don't know whether he had the cow pies or not, but meanwhile Dick Fairbank driving in. Long kick with Simpson, I think this time. Brings the ball away. Comes inside, that's not the way the little fella should be running. He wants to be going outside his men. He's got the pace. Harkin, lovely ball. Fairbank takes it well. Man outside Wilkinson, showing good pace is Wilkinson. Bouncing man off, tremendous play by Wilkinson. Good support play by Fairbank, he just couldn't get it in. So Northern, has to be a long pass. Little Harkin, what a superb ball to McGowan. McGowan to Simpson, who takes it well. Good yards by Roger, but a tremendous tackle by Tony Anderson. Excellent rugby. Great attacking play and great defensive work, Ian.
Yeah, that's the way to break them down. I think perhaps Northern Pendlebury's just been struggling where to position himself in the line, and that he's a newcomer. He obviously doesn't want to usurp Harkin's role. Paul been the playmaker for the last couple of seasons, but that was certainly beautiful rugby with Harkin coming a little bit wider. That's where he dummies to pass and then goes on his own, and it was a magnificent pass to McGowan coming strongly, a good pass to Simpson. That was top quality rugby. If Bradford Northern can repeat this kind of rugby, I think next Sunday's Cup tie against Wigan's going to be an absolute cracker, because they look a little bit vulnerable at times to me. So certainly Northern keeping all the pressure on, but I think they could certainly do with the next points. They might come here. I think if they can get the next 6, it might be game, set and match.
As we go for game, set and match, it's inside to Stewart. Stewart just couldn't keep that ball alive. Wanting a quick play the ball now. Halifax pinning him down there, giving the defence chance to get back. Well, Mercer trying to drive in. Don't think that'll make Skipper Harkin very happy. We're looking at a little switch play here now. Harkin at the moment hiding on the blind. Up they go. Halifax defence up very, very fast. You can just see now, this is where this defensive system does have its merits, especially around the play the ball. So Bradford Northern not really making the best of that 6. Harkin up there, a little cross kick. That's back to 1. Well, it should have been back to 1, just missing it out, Ian.
I think Halifax have lost the ball at least 4 and probably 5 times inside their own 25. But I think Northern would be better taking it to the touchline quickly, where you get bogged down in the middle. Halifax are defending very well. If you took it to a touchline, I think more gaps will open up.
Well, it's certainly looking at the moment, there's gaps on both sides. That time it was Halifax who exploited it. Well, Bradford Northern, after being camped on the Halifax line, are clinging on in desperation here. Brendan Hill tries to bullock his way over. Wolf George coming in. It's the last tackle. And I'm afraid Halifax didn't know what to do with that one. Looking round for somebody to kick it. Mumby won't miss this one. Very brave player. Now then, look at this bat out here. Wilkinson. Good tackle by Les Holiday. Sorry, it was Paul Medley, but tremendous set of 6 tackles there from Halifax. Came 75 yards. John Hamer takes some punishment, does John. But he's always there to settle it down. A very tough boy. This time good yards from Kelvin Skerritt. It looks as though he's hurt. Little Ramshaw as he ran over him. Pendlebury this time kicking. Another option which Bradford have, of course, now with Pendlebury. Takes a little bit of pressure off. Hobbs and Harkin with the kick in. Russell Stewart, another tremendous tackler. Doesn't miss many as he goes along. Has his critics, but this game's all about little partnerships. And when you've got Harkin disputing the ball about, he'll be the first one to tell you that he likes to play with the little fella. Does more than his share of tackling. Takes a lot of weight off Paul's shoulders when it comes to defensive play. Good ankle tap there on Pendlebury. This time it's Holiday. A long ball out. Holiday again with the kick, hoists it high. Mumby comes across, fumbles it. Now this could be dangerous. There's a man outside. Good tackle by Bradford Northern. But after all that, everything in vain because the Halifax chaser was offside. So a bit of a let off there for Bradford Northern, especially for Keith Mumby. But I think that was just a good example to show how this swirling wind can create problems for even an experienced player like Mumby. There's Tommy Smales on the moment now, the Halifax physio. Caused a lot of controversy at Thrumall when he came on with his headphones. Obviously in contact with the Halifax Russ Juddick, who was positioned at the top of the stand. Since then, that particular tactic has been banned from the game. That's good yards once again from Kelvin Skerritt. Thrives on hard work, does Kelvin. Tougher the better. That's a charge on, so that'll be play on. Paul just taking an extra step too many there before he could get his kick in. Brendan Hill now well tackled. Every time Hill gets it, there's a roar of anticipation goes up from the Halifax supporters and a roar of appreciation when it's brought to the ground from the Bradford supporters. Well, Staines, one of the Australians in the Halifax team, putting that one down. Pendlebury standing there looking to unload, deciding this time just to keep hold. Into John Hamer to taking it in. Nice switch of play, and it's Skerritt again, bouncing players off. Pendlebury through the gap. Last tackle. Paul Harkin. What's he going to do this time? Goes for this right-hand touchline again. Well taken by Longstaff. Big rangy lad. Ian?
The last 5-10 minutes, Halifax have got more and more into the game. I'm not sure if the ref's given I think he's given one offside so far, and Halifax certainly seem to be creeping up a little bit. When sides move up this quickly, you do rely on the referee to make sure the sides are a good five, or else you get no attack in rugby. And certainly the verve which Bradford played with in the first 20 minutes, it's been a little bit stifled now, because I would say that Halifax are just creeping up a shade.
It certainly has been noticeable. Referee hasn't been too strict with these offside laws, but it's actually going to the game. I think like to keep the game flowing. Meanwhile, Staines has dropped the ball again. This time manages to recover it, so it'll be another scrum down. It'll be Bradford Northern's head and ball. On the half-hour mark now, as the rains come pouring down, this is when Oxford turns into a very, very bleak hole indeed. All the spectators at the front of the stand shooting to the back for cover. Harkin feeds it in well. And this time I think Halifax have been caught offside, yes, encroaching within the 10 metres, the new law brought in this season. Something which a few referees are a bit inconsistent about, Ian, over there.
Yeah, I'd much rather the ref play advantage on that. I'd much rather him sort of put his hand up, say I've seen it, but let the tackle be completed, because it's far easier to score directly from a scrum than it is often from a free kick, because you're still only getting six players with the ball, and there's so much space here, and it's literally 7 against 7 if you get the ball away quickly from a scrum. So I wish refs would play a little bit more advantage on that one.
So it's Skerritt again, driving the ball in. I think we might see a little move this next play the ball now from Bradford. Possibly Harkin. No, I think he's going to call it, move it out wide. They've lost the ball, so Harkin will have to cancel that one, and straight away the little fella's caught offside. Holds his hands out in disbelief, but the referee was stood right next to him within a metre, and I don't think little fella can have any arguments about that one. It's a momentary loss in concentration from the Northern skipper. I think just a little bit dismayed at this losing the ball as Halifax now with Wilf George taking a tap penalty. So with 5 minutes to go to half time, it's Bradford Northern 12, Halifax 0. But as we've said before, Bradford Northern playing into a very, very strong wind. And that looked like a forward pass, but the ball's gone to deck again. It's Harkin who's sweeping up, who picks the ball up. It was that man Staines. Well, they couldn't be blamed this time. It was a very, very forward pass. Wilkinson. And just look how Halifax came up there. They must virtually have been in line with the Bradford Northern play the ball. See the referee positioning himself at the play the ball. This time he's making sure they are going back, but I think he wants to give them that 5 minutes now. There's a gap outside if Concrete can just move it wide. He's managed to do it, but the gap has been closed up. Wilkinson cuts inside. Good ball to Pendlebury. Pendlebury, another superb ball inside. Excellent play from John Pendlebury. He's got a magnificent pair of hands, finding his man every time. There's Harkin dumbing his way through, and a big off the ball incident there, which the referee I think's missed. Yes, the referee missed it totally. He said play on, but Bradford Northern's managed to recover the ball. And this time it's Hobbs peppering that line, but this time I think it'll go dead, so it'll be the tap 25. So after that tremendous 10 minutes from Bradford Northern at the side of the game, when they rushed into a 12-point lead, the game just lost a little bit of sparkle for the moment. And here comes Brendan Hill. And there's no way through this time for Brendan. 3 Bradford Northern men round him like flies round a jam pot. This is good play from Halifax. Good by Grogan, who's got good pace. He's still going, he's the centre. Good play, worthy round of applause there. Holiday set his man up somewhat there. Fifth and final tackle. And this strong wind, and that'll probably go dead. Will it? No, it won't go. Simpson will be forced to pick up. Got back well as a little fella. But once again, Simpson decided to try and run into his man rather than try and run away from him. This time it's Keith Mumby. Just taking an extra little bit of work away from the forwards. He drives the ball in. Just a couple of minutes to go to half time now. So possibly Bradford wanted to just sit back and rest on the laurels. This time it's Holland with another long deep kick missed by Anderson. Bradford Northern chasers in hot pursuit. So it's this time Bradford Northern once again on the defensive as Halifax consists with its battering ram tactics, trying to take the ball to the Bradford Northern pack. I think they'd have found out by now there's going to be no way through. There's a gap out there, the ball can be moved, and it's excellent play. Medley stood outside where he always used to stand for Leeds. Made good yards. Holiday. Grip. Peter Coyne just tackled. Fifth and final tackle. Little grubber. It's a good kick is that. Mercer being forced to kick the ball dead. The kick out underneath the Bradford Northern post. We're coming to the final minute of this half. Ian.
Halifax have certainly clawed themselves back into the game. I don't know if perhaps complacency set in with Northern because they burst them so easily and so frequently. At first, I believe at Fulham last week they looked very impressive, scored 2 quick tries and then let Fulham claw their way back into the game and make it a little bit harder. Interesting there, Medley breaking down the left-hand side, always used very much at Leeds as a right-hand runner, but last week at Warrington he came once or twice down the left, and it looks as though Halifax are trying to use him in that spot again today. But they're playing with a little bit more confidence. They've suffered a little bit from dropping the ball, Halifax, but they look more capable than the bottom of the table side, John.
Yes, they look a good side when they're moving the ball wide. In fact, I'm surprised that they have tried to drive the ball down the middle so much when they have looked quite dangerous out there. Even though Bradford are winning the moment 12-0, I don't think coach Barry Seidman will be all that happy with them. It was obvious that when they move the ball wide, they look a lot better team than they have trying to drive it down the middle. So I'm sure in the second half, he'll be telling them to follow instructions and not go back to their own methods of play. And now that looks a good kick. Mercer being forced to turn and chase back. They'll pick it up cleanly. Mumby inside, maybe to use as a foil. Decides to go himself. So possibly a little bit critical of Bradford, 12 points up. It's very, very easy to criticise. It is a difficult wind they're playing into. And life can't be easy down there. There's been some tremendous aspects of the play. First of all, that fella Pendlebury. Harkin. Moves it out wild. Hobbs. Well, not a very good pass there from David. Little Simpson, is he away? No, once again, just caught from behind. Just get those ankles tapped. This time it's McGowan who brings us to the fifth and final tackle. Well, as Hobbs got that one back. Charged down by a Halifax player. Not one of his better kicks. In fact, the last two kicks from Bradford have been very, very disappointing. Forcing themselves into a lot of extra work. Holiday comes on a straight run. Classic run from a rugby league forward. Straight and hard. And Bradford Northern Wolverine not looking at Halifax score here now. Tremendous psychological advantage to score at half time as Hill comes in. The fifth and final tackle. A little chip over the top possibly. Good ball out wide, and it must be there for Wilf George. Dropped the ball and also had a foot in touch. A good covering, but Roger Simpson had just left it a little bit, his wing exposed a little bit there, allowing the wide pass to get George away. So it'll be a turnover on the sixth tackle, and Bradford Northern just clinging on rather fortunately there.
The amount that Halifax are swinging the ball makes me wonder whether it was a deliberate tactic of Strudwick early on to have them just driving from acting half and first man, perhaps to get the Bradford forwards used to being in the middle and thinking they can contain them there. But the last 20 they've certainly swung the ball about with a lot more effect, and Northern been caught once or twice. There's been some very good cover defence, but certainly Northern will be tired at half time. They've had an awful lot of work to do. Rarely left their own half in the last 15 minutes. And looking just a little bit vulnerable at the moment. I think they'll be grateful for the half-time whistle. The next points are looking vital, really.
They certainly are, Ian. And once again, another charge down. Is Mumby going to get there first? Well done, Keith Mumby. But once again, we see that lack of preparation in the kick. Bradford Northern once again putting themselves under pressure. Well, we've been playing 42 minutes on my watch. Possibly referee Mr. Haig getting a little bit of injury time on, but I can't recall any. So Bradford Northern now, after dominating for the first 30 minutes, have suddenly found themselves on the collar in these last 10 and have withstood some tremendous pressure from this Halifax side. Longstaff picks the ball up, decides to come inside, but looking very, very sluggish. Cut across there, possibly bogged down in the Oxel mud. It's more like the defensive work as John Lyons tries to cut inside. Lyons, of course, who came with Medley in exchange for Dixon. Of Northern robbed the ball now for quick hands on the ball. Well, possibly that ball should have been passed out there. 2 or 3 man overlap if the ball could have just been moved out wide. Wilkinson takes the ball in himself. Well, McGowan coming much too early there. Nearly colliding with his own man. Once again, Bradford persisting, and there goes the half-time whistle. So it's Bradford Northern 12, Halifax 0. Game of contrasting fortunes, Ian. We've seen a game swing both ways.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'd like to be a fly on both dressing room walls. There'll certainly be 1 or 2 harsh words said, I think, in the Bradford one. Halifax have lifted the game up, but they're into a very strong breeze, and I would think Northern might go for 1 or 2 points for the first points in the second half, and really it's a game they shouldn't lose.
I think I'd go along with that one, Ian. Well, so here we go for the second half, with Northern looking resplendent in their clean jerseys. Looking to be built upon this score. I'm sure it'll be very much a kicking game in this second half. Harkin and Hobbs looking to pin Halifax back in their own 25, and straight away, the long deep kick. Anderson picks the ball up, tries to bring it away. Come very, very cold since the start of the game. Looks as though Halifax have bought a substitution. I'm not quite sure which one it is. As soon as I find out, I'll tell you what's happening. Long ball there, George. Well marshalled by little Roger Simpson. 5th and final tackle. You can see there now how the wind is holding the ball up as Mumby picks up. Straight into a couple of Halifax defenders. Little tall Harkin with no number on. Obviously Fred's run out of number 7 shirts. Straight away it's Harkin again. Putting in a tremendous kick. I'm sure his forwards will be very, very pleased to see that one going in. It saves them so much work here when you have a little fella that can kick 60 yards like that.
Yeah, the art of kicking seemed to go out of the game for a few years, sort of late 70s, early 80s, but the 6 tackles put it back with a vengeance. And Bradford now, with Hobbs, Pendlebury and Harkin, have possibly 3 of the best infield kickers in the game. I very much rate Sean Edwards for his little chip in field, but certainly touch finders. Northern have got 3 of the best.
And I'm sure they'll be using for the full capacity, did he say? A Staines for once breaks through. Calvin Skerritt uncharacteristically missing a tackle. Makes up though with that one. Surely what must have been obstruction there. Yes, referee. Mr. Haig from Hossett spotted it straight away. Tried to work the miss move. As Nigel Starmer Smith would say, we call it missing a man out. Skipper Harkin just instructing Hobbs. Going for goal with his win behind him. This first score obviously very, very important, just to take them out of reach.
Absolutely horrendous conditions out there now. The rain's bouncing down on the track at the side. It's certainly cold and miserable for the players. And I think one side could well go on. That side could be Halifax. If Northern could get this perhaps and another score quickly, can be very demoralising in bad weather.
So David Hobbs came with his 3rd goal, and there he makes no mistakes. Excellent strike from David Hobbs. Very good goal under difficult conditions there. So Bradford Northern 14, Halifax 0. Could the game be slipping away from Halifax? It's Ian Wilkinson. Ball seems to find him like a magnet from the kick-off, and that's 3 times he's picked it up. John Haver driving that one in. Northern a little bit fortunate at that one. 1 or 2 players coming for the ball. Brian deciding to spin it wide. So it's Concrete. Takes the ball in, well tackled. It's a quick play the ball. Once again, Halifax up very, very fast. Forcing Brian Noble to go on his own. This time Hobbs manages to get the kick in, despite the attention. A diving attempt from Jason Ramshaw. A great movement Halifax now, with no overlap out there. This time it's Staines who's taking the ball in. The wind really building up now as it whistles through the stand. Has that ball gone to ground? Harkin's pouncing on it like a little terrier. Yes, he's managed to pick it up cleanly.
It's difficult for Halifax now. They've got to get 3 scores, so they've got to keep the ball alive, and it's not really the kind of conditions for whizzing the ball from wing to wing, and it's close support that counts more than anything. But it's an awful lot, 14 points here, and I think if Northern can put the next score on fairly quickly, you'll see a demoralised Halifax side. It's not been a good season for them. They've had obviously 2 Wembley appearances in the last 2. In fact, the first one that Pendlebury, I think, should have got man of the match. Northern's new signing when it was given to Graham Eady. But last week at Warrington and a couple of weeks ago at Wigan, Halifax seemed to go last 15 when they were behind. The heads seemed to drop from both Wigan and Warrington, but at least a dozen points on in the last 10 minutes.
Yes, it's always difficult when you're struggling down there at the foot of the table. Things generally seem to go from bad to worse. And Halifax certainly suffering at the moment. Another defeat today will send them closer to the 2nd division. Meanwhile, they're still playing some good football. A little bit unfortunate that one. I think it had gone to a back. It could have been dangerous for Northern. McGowan makes his second tackle in succession. Well, he was looking for a treble. Away he goes. This time the ball just moving out. Ball picked up by Mumby. Mumby returns the compliment. Very astute kick. This time Anderson refused to accept the challenge and decides to drive it in. A little tactic which we've seen Keith adopt more and more this season. Meanwhile, a good break from Lyons. Excellent play from the little scrum half. One of my Bradford schoolboys from many years ago. Went to the Cardinal Hinsley School down Tong Street. Another good tackle. Once again we see a deep kick, and the Halifax players not going up quite as fast and in support as much as they were in the first 5 minutes. And Mumby ducks and dives under 3 attempted tackles. And Gary Mercer this time coming in for a wing, trying to keep warm, driving that ball in. Kelvin Skerritt, another bustling run. This time Brian sneaking down the blind. Harkin again, this time not quite a good a kick. Although he forces Anderson back, forces him to pick up. And that's a good tackle from John Pendlebury. Well assisted by Brian Noble. Brian Noble again. And Halifax again seem to have reverted to the driving tactics. Although with this man Holiday on their side, one can never take anything for granted. Excellent distributor of the ball. And there's no way through that time for Lyons. Forces Hill to kick. Don't think kicking's ever been an aspect of Brendan's game. Good yards from Mercer. I remember one of my old coaches once saying to me, when you can't think of anything else to do, kick the ball, and I think that's what Brendan did there. Found himself in possession on the 5th and final tackle. Nobody around him, so he decided to have a little peg himself. Northern working the blind well. Harkin puts his man inside. In these dark, gloomy conditions, it's very, very difficult to see. But if now, once again, it's Bradford on a lovely short ball. Great yard from McGowan. Has he got the pace? He's got a man outside him. Just should have opened his legs and gone. Once again, that confidence in Steve McGowan letting him down. I'm sure if he'd taken his man on there, he would have strode away and gone to the post. What's a long pass here? Can he get it out? Manages to slip it. Still the overlaps on. Lovely ball now. Surely this must be a score. No good defending by Halifax. And that's a force of a turnover, Ian.
Yeah, some lovely play there. The drop off in the middle of the field sucked Halifax in. McGowan came well from the short ball. And although he has got the man of the match in the last 2 games, I think possibly could have made slightly more of that. I mean, when he's running, he moves majestically. He seemed to hit form this season at Castleford, where he played without shoulder pads for the first time. His running just seemed a little bit more fluid and a little bit more relaxed. And I think mentally he's probably as well tuned in as he was, I think, 3 seasons ago when he was Northern's second leading try scorer. But really, Northern should have made a little bit more than that, because they created the overlap on the other side then as well, and failed to make the most of it.
Meanwhile, play continues at Oxhill. And a good driving run once again. It's that man Staines. Lost the ball, but referee just didn't see it. Holiday switching play. Bradford Northern a little bit slow to move up on the blind side, so there's an opportunity out here. Good play, man inside him, but that man Mumbai does not want to get past him. Tremendous tackle. Certainly must give you a lot of confidence when you've got a man like Mumbai at the back. Well, a little desperation stakes there. A little offside by Bradford. Looked as though it must have been Mercer who was just caught offside from the rebound from the kick. Very, very unlucky. So here we have Halifax now with the opportunity to maybe pull some points back, maybe pull something out of the fire. And it looks like it's going to be the old charge over. Everybody going in. Well, is that 6 tackles? There's 6 of them tackle there. Something we haven't seen for a long, long time. The old flying wedge. Halifax working this ball round to the post. I'm sure they'll be thinking about putting a little move on here. Good ball from Ramshaw. Men outside. Winger left unfree. That's a good try. Well, that's one back for Halifax. Remains to be seen. I'm just trying to see who scored it. Looks a little like Tony Anderson in support from the full-back position. Ian?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure it was Anderson. A good try, really. The flying wedge, yeah, they've been doing it for a week or two. Wigan did it the first season Low came, and they've stopped it now, but Halifax do that, and then they do a similar one a little bit later where Staines turns and feeds the ball off before he hits the opposition. But it seems to have had the effect there. It sucked Northern in. They tried another little one from acting half-back, and then moved the ball, and there was Anderson on the inside. A fast player, Anderson, a good footballer, no doubt about it, and full-back, a good attacking position these days. He read the situation well, and Northern played themselves into a little bit of difficulty. They're still certainly favourites for the game, but I think the large crowd here today would have liked a comprehensive victory. Halifax being local derby rivals, and certainly to put the crowd and players in a good mood for next week's cup tie against Wigan, would have hoped for more points on the board at this time. 14 points to 6.
Thank you, Ian. So maybe we'll see the game in a different light now. Bradford Northern obviously going to have to try and extend that lead again. But another try for Halifax will pull them right back into it. So a good, nice deep kick from Hobbs. Well, straight away, the tricky conditions there. Could see the ball spinning off the ground so fast. Standoff Coyne just unable to take it, so it'll be a kick out straight away from underneath the post, putting the advantage once again in Northern's hands. Well, the referee just stopped play while the linesman goes for the ball over on the far touch line. No ball comes on, there's balls everywhere at the moment. I think the referee, Mr. Hagel, wants the original match ball. He does, he kicks something away, and away we go again. So Stephen McGowan now, taking the ball to Halifax 25. Harkin. Another driving run from Skerritt. Harkin marshalling his troops. So nice and deep, we decide to take one blind. In goes Hamer.
Keep back, lads, keep back.
Harkin, Hobbs taking it standing though. Loved a little drop-off move off his left-hand shoulder. Carl Fairbank, excellent yards, excellent support play. Now will Bradford Northern are looking to move it fast on this right-hand side. The overlap's definitely there. Halifax coming up very, very fast. Maybe the chips on. Bradford Northern, another player taking off the ball. Lashes out at Halifax player who's laid prostrate on the ground. Meanwhile, play continues to McGowan. Simpson must score. Good try for Simpson. Excellent play. Kelvin Skerritt holding the ball up, eventually moving it to McGowan, who fed Simpson, who scored the try for a wonderful try, Ian.
Yeah, and he tries in this condition, a wonderful tries. Halifax playing, I think, paying for the complacency and casual approach straight from the kick-off. They thought they were back in the game. They let the ball go dead, so reminiscent of Henderson Gill in that Great Britain-Australia test a couple of years ago at Old Trafford. Back in the game, Halifax, but only for a matter of seconds. Good try by Simpson, nice pass out by McGowan after Skerritt had held the ball up. Bradford have worked hard this week on getting rid of the ball quickly, not taking those little steps as the ball goes across field, not pulling the ball into the body as it's handled, and they've made a good chance out on the left there as the ball was moved quickly along the line. It came backwards, Harkin half split the defence, there was a ball on the floor, but kept alive by Bradford, and just reward a try in the corner to Roger Simpson. He'll be delighted with that one. A very difficult kick. Which is wide, 18 points to 6. Hobbs a superb goal kicker on his day, superb player. Always seems to have time, he's so much strength. Tremendous physique of a player. And Northern now, back in the driving seat. Good time to hit back so quickly.
The ideal time to score. Just going about Ian, David Hobbs there, Ian. I don't think many know that he started as a standoff at Pontefract Rugby Union. Obviously put a little bit more weight on since those days. But in the War of the Roses match this year at Headingley, he was in tremendous form goal kicking. I think he got 4 out of 4 from every position on the field, both touch lines, the halfway line. And as you say, on his day, possibly one of the best goal kickers in the game today, David Hobbs. Meanwhile, John Hamer.
And he's changed his style so much in everything, really. He was a runner at Featherstone in the second row, if you remember his terrific tries at Wembley when he won the Lance Todd. And then at Oldham, and now he's turned into a little bit more of a ball under control in the middle as Northern break. An over-ambitious pass there. And the referee adjudicates forward pass. But Northern, Lucas Olive could be taking control here.
Yeah, it's a tremendous 30 yards there from Kelvin Skerritt. Just spoilt it a little bit with that final pass. But I think maybe we're going to see the floodgates open here. Mind you, I've said that before, Ian, it hasn't happened. I think possibly at Fulham last week when we were 10 points up, 12 points up within 5 minutes, I thought it was going to be a 60, 70 points job, but Fulham came back into the game, and that's what rugby league's all about. You can never, nothing's for certain. So it should be Halifax head and ball, and away they come with it. Grogan caught there that time. Very, very flat, not getting deep. As I said before, difficult conditions. It's a good wide ball out. To Medley, and away goes. And the ball's on the deck. So get going. Bit of Rugby Union play. Well, that ball should have gone out there. Two-man overlap and a tremendous tackle. Just goes to show you can never write anybody off. Halifax coming straight back, showing tremendous character. A little head-to-head there between the Fairbank brothers. Elder brother Dick just giving the young pretender Carl the evil eye. And that's a good up and under. It's bouncing Halifax's flavour. And it looks as though they're over. No try, on his back. A sigh of disbelief from the Halifax supporters and a roar of applause from the Bradford Northern in relief. 5-yard scrum.
Medley skipping out of McGowan's tackle here in the left centre spot created a little bit of pressure for Northern. A good tackle on the far side, and perhaps a little bit fortunate not to have conceded a try there.
Yes, the ball's come out in Halifax favour. Only inches short. It looks as though Lions is over. Straight from the scrum to Halifax, straight away, bouncing straight in. A little bit of controversy, but I think the referee has actually given the try.
I have a feeling that looked like Holiday who scored the try. Northern can't say they weren't warned about it because with the defensive ploys, last week he took the ball 3 times from the scrum. He created 2 good chances for Lions at Warrington, and certainly And certainly Northern had been warned about that. Close to the line, he took it, forced his way over. And if this kick goes over, 18-12, the score will be. Indeed it is. It looks like a rip-roaring finish here now, as Whitfield converts 18 points to 12, just one score the difference. And as John said before, game of fluctuating fortunes. Brian Redhead, the BBC Radio 4 commentator, described it as chess with muscles. Well, we'll see who King gets in the best place now.
And for a moment I thought Bradford had bounced lucky again. Straight from the kick-off, so Bradford Northern 18-12. Halifax very much in the game again. Been a tremendous scrapful for everything expected from a local derby. Both sides desperate for points. Can Bradford Northern raise the game once again though? Take it out of Halifax's reach as they come to the fifth and final tackle, a long ball back. Gets it well straight to Mercer. Tremendous yards, Mercer's got the pace, lovely kick over. I think he's going to score, just got into touch. Possibly a case for obstruction there, Ian.
Yeah, it looked as though he wasn't flattened, but I think he was just put off, although the ball went into touch anyway. It's amazing how many of our southern hemisphere counterparts are willing to kick in those positions. I mean, Australia, the hard grounds, the ball often stands up beautifully, but they usually look as though they're playing paddy fields. Whenever I see New Zealand rugby, it looks as though it just rains 365 days in the year, and so probably the kicks stand up and they don't go into touch, they just lie in the mud and you follow on. But good play by Mercer, he brought two tackles there. And Northern in position here, I think, to keep Halifax pinned down. Wouldn't surprise me if Northern didn't go for a drop goal when they next attacked for the centre, because derby games always fiercely contested right to the end. A lot of pride at stake. I don't think many of the players will be thinking about the money now. It'll be the pride and a position in the league that counts more. A chance here for Northern.
McGowan once again getting Simpson away. Simpson's got the pace to take them on. The little fella's through, two tackles, pulled down inches short. Now then, can Northern spin it wide? Pendlebury stayed out to Hobbs. Hobbs hits Fairbank. Fairbank will take it straight. Tries to outpace the defence. Possibly should have just straightened up and let that ball go. I'm sure he'll bring the ball back inside as Halifax once again come up very, very fast. They'll be harking on the switch move. Here he comes. Short ball. Tremendous. No support. Yes, it is. That's a good try from Bradford Northern. Excellent try. Couldn't quite see who scored it, but that's something that'll please Coach Barry Seaburn very much. I think little Russell Stewart backing up in fine style, like a half-back should do. A good planned move that, well executed. Ian?
Yeah, you see the delight on the players' faces there, and I think one of the reasons is that's a move they've practiced and worked hard at. It's difficult to break Halifax down in that position. There were 3 or 4 changes of direction, men running off the ball, and good support by little Russell Stewart. He doesn't usually head the try-scoring charts, but he's well up on the tackle counts. And there he was in perfect position. And certainly the players there delighted. When you train for hours and hours and you practice and you put these moves into effect and they come off, it seems to make all the cold nights and the wet, miserable nights training worthwhile. A fine try, good position set up. Halifax once again, you see, they're behind, they've got to throw the ball about, they lost it in their own 25. Simpson made good ground to the line. Northern swung it quickly. In fact, a couple of Halifax players offside on the far side. They'd not got back into position, but Northern exploiting it. Quick play the balls, which counts so much. Good play, round acting half-back, and a fine try to extend the lead, 24 points to 12.
David Hobbs kicking his 4th goal, 24 points to 12, as Ian just said. So are we going to see a late flurry from Bradford?
Yeah, Whitfield putting the ball on the wrong line there. He's either concussed or having a joke at an odd time.
Well, Northern certainly weren't complaining, Ian. Anyway, away we go again. Wilkinson shrugging him off, and certainly a right hand going in there. Linesman refusing to ignore it. Certainly been a good, clean, hard-fought contest up to Prass. Nothing underhand really at all. Possibly Halifax now just been a little bit disappointed, a little bit dejected. And really, Carl Fairback didn't want that ball. He was obviously coming on a dummy run. Brian Noble didn't quite read it, passed the ball to him. So it'll be a scrum down. One of the Halifax players waiting treatment. It looks a little bit concussed. Little Jason Ramshaw, only 19. Wandering about, looks in rather a bemused condition.
Yeah, he's looped days for a minute or two. I wonder if Northern are thinking of a substitution. Possibly John Pendlebury. He's not had many matches recently. Struggled to impose himself in the second half. Not his style of game, and it might be a chance for Coach Seaborn to chance one of his subs, because he got a lot of scope with Russell Stewart, who he could pop in at loose forward there. Although if he's thinking of playing Pendlebury the full game to give himself match fitness. Lyons well tackled there as he tries to break up the middle.
Yeah, of course, another option. They could always put Gary Mercer at loose forward. He's often stated he'd like to have a little crack in the forwards. He's certainly a strong direct runner. Yeah, so John, we're just discussing there, John Pendlebury obviously won't be able to play next week against Wigan, signed after the Cup line day. A little chip through, Bradford Northern covering. And the ball goes to ground. Halifax are in here again, I think. Look like coin. So really a comedy of errors there, Ian.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for persistence, really. It's the kind of fluke that changes the course of rugby games sometimes. Mumby went down, the ball squirmed from his grasp. Halifax there in number, the ball chipped ahead, and Peter Coyne, who seems to get plenty of groans every time his name's announced at Halifax, and he didn't get many cheers there, was first on hand to touch the ball down and pull Halifax back in at 24 points to 16. Into the last 10 minutes, Halifax have never been in the lead in the game, but they've never quite let Northern escape so far out of sight. Typical of a slippy, greasy ball. End of a game, with plenty of mucky shirts out there. It's been an awful afternoon. And the kick just curls in. Halifax back within 6 points.
Well, the game's certainly swaying one way or the other at the moment. Advantage still with Bradford Northern. But once again, Halifax are again within striking distance. This time it's Anderson who brings the ball away after that little fumble behind the line. Staines decides to go down the blind side. A game that's far from over at the moment at 24-18. But Bradford Northern, each time Halifax has scored, have looked capable of just stepping up again and scoring to their end. Let's hope they can do it again and put the game out of Halifax's reach. And there's an example of that straight running that we're just saying about Gary Mercer. Likes to go straight, likes to take them on. Certainly haven't flagged in defence, Halifax. Still stuck to the system, still bunched tightly in the middle, still coming up very, very fast. Of course, when they do move up fast like that, there are gaps behind. Anderson forced to retrieve the ball. chased by Pendlebury. Pendlebury, classic tackle around George's ankles, gets a pat on the back from Carl Fairbank. McGowan lifting his man up, forcing him backwards. Possibly looking to kick on this one, will Halifax now try and catch Northern a little bit unawares. Wingman hasn't dropped back yet. A good dummy. Fifth and final tackle. This time Mercer drops back, so does Roderick Simpson. Charge down. Will it go into touch? Yes, it has, so it'll be a scrum down. Halifax just bringing a substitute on. Andy Parkinson coming on to replace Wolf George, who's been limping for the last 5 or 6 minutes. Halifax once again coming away with the ball. There's a big gap there. Well closed up though by the Bradford Northern defence. Man Stewart again. Brendan Hill taking the ball in. Carl Fairbank looking to pinch it from him. When he first came to Bradford Northern, he used to lose the ball on numerous occasions, did Brendan, from the way he carried the ball. Coach Barry Seaborn worked very hard on him, and it's a habit he seems to have got out of now. Carl Fairbank just couldn't prize it out of his gaffs there. So as we go into the final 5 minutes, it's Keith Mumby bringing the ball up. Bradford Northern 24, Halifax 18. Sandy Parkinson there, resplendent in his clean jersey, sticking out like a sore thumb. The rest of the Halifax and Bradford Northern heroes covered in blood. The ball's gone to ground. Well, that's an error that Bradford Northern can ill afford to make, especially with the game so delicately poised. Only 6 points between both sides, Ian.
I didn't see whether that was knocked out. The ref looked to the touch judge for assistance. He hadn't seen anything, and so it's a scrum down with Halifax to feed on the 25. Oh no, it was Harkin to feed, sorry, and Northern come away with the ball. Very gratefully, I'm sure. I'd like these 6 players to finish well inside the Halifax half.
Certainly would take some of the pressure off. Good inside ball, but just marginally forward. Carl Fairbank disagreeing there violently with the referee's decision, but it did look a little bit forward from the top of the stand. And of course, even if it's parallel, it's a forward pass. Ball has got to be seen to go back. So it's Halifax, that's a tremendous pass. Yes, it was a knock on, and the referee can't allow play to go on there. So obviously the cold conditions are getting to both players. There's ball going to ground on a couple of occasions there. Very, very cold, very, very bitter out there. Paul Harkin taking his time, wandering around the scrum. There's a little switch move. Attempted switch move. Paul Harkin just not managing to get his pass in. So, as Tommy Smales, the Halifax physio, runs across, giving instructions to all his players. The two derisory attacks, the ball goes to ground, but a tremendous pick-up. Harkin with a little kick. Could be a gem of a kick if it goes. No, just bounces straight up into Anderson's hand. Going across the pitch, taking off the ball there though. Referee saying play on. Excellent tackle. Meanwhile, Anderson lays prostrate on the ground. Referee looked to both linesmen and no decision given. So play goes on. Shakes his head and gingerly climbs to his feet.
I think it was good ref in that. And it's interesting that the man's got up without any treatment. There's somebody acting. We don't get much of it in rugby league. It's something that comes from football by and large. Has Northern come away with the ball? But good refereeing by mistake. It's been quite a clean and fast-flowing game. It's been ruined as a spectacle, I think, by the weather. The first 15 minutes, Northern put some outstanding rugby together. But then the rains came, the wind blew stronger, and the fast-flowing rugby disappeared, and it's become really a very gruelling battle in the middle of the field. Northern have had supremacy throughout. 6 points into the last couple of minutes, 6 points lead, and hopefully no serious injuries as preparation for the really big cup tie next week. Northern, as we all know, just pipped at Wigan last year, a very disputed penalty goal, and a lot of controversy about this year's John Player game as well, the semi-final. So Northern looking next week for the chance of revenge, and let's hope that coach Barry Seaborn has a full complement of fit players to choose from.
Thank you, Ian. Although this game far from over at the moment, still only 6 points in it. Halifax desperately trying to claw their way back into the game to get that valuable point. I can't see them win it, but a draw is certainly a possibility. Well, the ball's gone and it's just gone to ground as McGowan goes in. Just couldn't quite get it as Parkinson sweeps round the back and picks it up. Certainly a big fella, this chap. It's a fifth and final tackle though. Northern will have to get caught offside, and that's a poor kick. Allows Mumby to pick it up cleanly. And that's excellent yards from Mumby. Ryler, Pendlebury wanting players to come short of him. Well, I look like Carl Fairbank, couldn't quite see. Caked in mud. That's definitely David Hobbs. And David Hobbs chasing his own kick. That's tremendous play from Bradford Northern, forcing the kick out underneath the post. Well, just been announced that the man of the match award going to Kelvin Skellett. I don't think many would argue with that. He had a tremendous first half, some tremendous breaks, tackled well throughout the game. Certainly got the better of his opposite number, Brendan Hill, and has won the battle up front. Would you agree with that decision, Ian?
Yeah, there's one or two Northern players. Hobbs has put a lot of class touches in. I think Gary Mercer's had an exceptionally good game. It's not easy to shine on the wing. Days like this, Noble and Mumby, they're never far away, but a good team performance. A fair choice, especially as he would have had to raise his game against Brendan. Really, if you think about it, good bit of business. Bradford, I think, did Brendan come for 30,000 and he went on for 90,000 cash. Well, that's good business by any standards as Harkin tries to probe his way through the middle. Seconds ticking away. No ball. Got X-ray vision around that acting half spot. The referee not sure, he's given a Halifax ball.
Well, Carl Fairbank acting half back, a little bit slow around the play of the ball there. Allowing Lyons just to knock that ball out of his hands. Must have been a knock on, but referee saying play on. Would have been a sixth tackle anyway, so it would have been a handover. Virtually time now, so Halifax still forced to throw the ball about with gay abandon. Still searching desperately for that elusive 6 points to bring them back into this game. In their own 25 and the ball still going wide. Ball's gone to ground there, the referee's seen it. McGowan's picked it up, and if it had gone straight, I think he'd have scored. He's going to make it though. Well done, Steve McGowan. He's well deserved. To might honestly have one to add to his 3 he got last week. Well deserved, Ian.
Yeah, that's, I think, tribute to the Northern defence there. They were moving up in line. That was a good line, putting all the pressure on Halifax as they were prepared to swing the ball about. McGowan stayed alert, forced his way out of the tackle. He's certainly in form. Wigan these days seem to be relying very much on strength. He'll have his work cut out next week against Iro and Bell, but I'm sure performance like this today and the recent ones will give him a lot of confidence, because I think if Northern can hold them there, this Northern pack on the rampage is good enough for any in the league, and I think if we can hold them in the centre, then Northern could be in for a result that might put them one more road down to Wembley. But as far as today's go, that will certainly clinch it for Northern, and it looks like a 30 points to 18 victory as the crowd shiver on the way home. Chance just to the right of the post for David Hobbs. Safely, comfortably through the middle with a minimum of effort. 30 points to 18 as the final hooter goes.
Yeah, so a well-deserved victory for Bradford Northern by 30 points to 18. A game that flowed and ebbed both ways. Bradford Northern power and strength, eventually coming out on top. Sure, it'll give the lads a lot of confidence in next week's game. Game which I'm looking forward to with eager anticipation. So the final score, Bradford Northern 30, Halifax 18.